John chapter 8 verse 28. Then Jesus said unto them, When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then ye shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father has taught me, I speak these things. The problem, it is argued that since Jesus says I am, he is alluding to the divine name, thereby in effect telling the Jews that he is very God. The problem occurs when verse 28 is pulled out of its context. To properly understand what Jesus said in verse 28, one needs to read the preceding verses. John chapter 8 and verse 23. And Jesus said unto them, Ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. I say therefore unto you, that ye shall die in your sins, for ye believe not that I am he. Ye shall die in your sins. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? And Jesus said unto them, Even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. I have many things to say, and to judge of you, but he that sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. They understood not that he spoke to them of the Father. Then said Jesus unto them, When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then ye shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father has taught me, I speak these things. So verse 23 is critical to a proper understanding of what Jesus is referring to when he later uses the phrase I am. In verse 23, Jesus introduces the first of a series of 3 I am statements. Jesus starts by stating, I am from above. It would only be natural that when Jesus subsequently uses I am in verse 24 and 28, he is referring back to the original I am from above statement in verse 23. Therefore, the context needs to be considered in order to better understand what the subsequent abbreviated I am statements are referring to. One must keep in mind Jesus' I am above statement in verse 23 when he later states, Ye will die in your sins if ye believe not that I am. In other words, Jesus was warning the Jews, Ye shall die in your sins if ye believe not that I am from above, from my Father. When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am from above, from my Father. Rather than declaring that he was God, Jesus was warning the Jews that he had been sent by God from above. Compare John chapter 20 and verse 21. Then Jesus said to them again, Peace be unto you, as my Father has sent me, even so I am sending you. It is important not to take Jesus' I am statement out of their context. Jesus did not claim to be God, but rather God's Son, as the prophet declares in Psalm 2, anointed and sent by God, speaking and acting as his Father instructed. We can see this by the additional statements made by Jesus in the very same chapter as the I am statements. These include John chapter 8 and verse 28, I do nothing of myself, but as my Father has taught me, I speak these things. If Jesus is very God of very God and co-equal with the Father, then why must Jesus be taught by the Father? If Jesus is God, then why can he do nothing of his own authority? Must God wait on another person before he can do something? John chapter 8 and verse 40. You are determined to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. If Jesus is very God of very God, then does God hear God? Seeing that Jesus said that he was a man that has heard from God. Verse 42. I proceeded forth and came from God, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. One cannot come from God and be sent by God. at the same time be very God. Verse 58. Jesus answered, If I honour myself, my honour is nothing. It is my Father that honours me. If Jesus is co-equal with God, then why is Jesus' honour described as being nothing, and why is the only honour worthy of mention is the honour that is bestowed by his Father? These honours don't sound very equal if God the Son is co-equal with God the Father, as the Trinitarian Creed claims.